Gears of War 3 came out in September 2011, and after 5 years we can finally get our hands on Gears of War 4. It's not Epic Games anymore, but a new studio called The Coalitions, with some familiar faces like Rod Ferguson, who's working on Gears of War franchise now. It didn't work out very well for Halo, but it looks like that The Coalitions has survived that. Gears of War 4 feels exactly like Gear 3, fast-paced gameplay with Gears of War weapons that we are used to enjoy. What is the difference between old Gears of War and Gears of War 4? Well, the gameplay is just the same as Gears 3, which is a good thing, but there are some new enemies in Gears 4. Swarm and the robots. In this review, I'm going to talk more about the multiplayer than the campaign. Let me first off with this, how Gears of War multiplayer works, and what are the changes in Gears of War 4 than the preview Gears of Wars. The weapon balance in Gears 4 is what makes the multiplayer so good. You don't have to deal with sawed-off and retro lancer anymore. Well, the retro lancer can now be used as a power weapon, so your main weapons are shotgun, lancer, hammer burst, and enforcer. The shotgun feels pretty much the same as Gears 3, but it shoots slightly slower than Gears 3. Lancer is pretty much the same as Gears 3. If you play Gears 3, the Lancer feels exactly the same. The hammer burst has been changed compared to Gears 3. Instead of single shot, it's now a burst weapon. But it's still a very powerful weapon. I've been using it from the start. Now I want to talk about one of the most important things about Gears of War 4, and that is the multiplayer maps. I have played every Gears of War, and I think that Gears 3 had the best multiplayer maps. Even the DLC maps were damn good. I can name a few maps that I would like to return to Gears of War 4 one day. For example, Checkout, Trash Ball, Trenches, and so many more. Gears of War great maps. Even Gears 1 had great maps, like Clock Tower, Canals. Those maps, Mansion, will be definitely amazing DLC maps. So how are the maps in Gears of War 4? Well, in total there are 10 multiplayer maps, and I've played them all. And there are some maps that I didn't like, especially how the maps looks. Gears 1, 2 and 3 maps, they were very unique. They had their own design. For example, look how Clock Tower looked, Gridlock, Canals, Mansion, Checkout, Trash Ball, Trenches, Old Town. When you look at those maps, you know, everyone would say that looks like a Gears map. So that's a missing there are some maps that I wish they look like Gears, but they kind of feel like Call of Duty, you know, other shooters. But so far, I think there are like 5 maps that looks like Gears map. Hopefully the DLC maps will be much better. The design will be more like Gears of War. I think the multiplayer maps are not that big. I've played every game mode on every map. My favorite one is King of the Hill. I've been playing it since Gears of War 1. Gears of War 1, it was called Annex. The maps are very well designed for each game mode. It works on every game mode that I've played. Another thing I want to talk about is that this could have been a deal breaker for me. Everyone who has played Gears of War, they have experienced the host advantage. Gears of War 3 had dedicated servers at the beginning, but later on it felt like they were turned off because many people left and they never came back. But I was still playing Gears of War 3, and that was something I wish they would have fixed in Gears of War. but also the netcode and the dedicated servers are still there are still some issues with it, but the netcode, it has to do with the Unreal Engine. the, Sometimes it feels like there's slightly some power to someone else, but maybe they're still working on it. Gears of War 4 has also dedicated servers, and you can select your own region from the start menu. I have been playing for a week now, and there was one time that I thought this match was not on dedicated servers, because I felt that my shots were very weak and people killed me with one shot, while I had to shoot them 3 or 4 times. To end this review, I must say that the multiplayer looks very promising so far. I was very worried about Gears of War 4 in general, multiplayer and campaign, after what happened to Halo. Halo is a big franchise for Microsoft. It had hype to it. People were excited about when Halo got announced or when Halo was about to be released. That has been changed after Halo 5. Some people have bought Halo 5, but I think that the population of Halo 5 is very low at the moment. I think that Coalition did very well with the multiplayer, and I think Gears of War 4 is in a very good position. I've been playing it for a week now, and it doesn't feel like I'm playing a different Gears of War. It feels very old school Gears of War with fast-paced gameplay, that unique gameplay that we are used to play in Gears 1, 2, 3. 3 was very fast, very fine-tuned gameplay, and it stayed exactly the same in Gears 4, but they have fine-tuned the gameplay, so they didn't really add many other things in the gameplay to ruin the gameplay, so that's a good thing. The Coalition did a great job with that.